Hi there, I'm Paula Beattie, and I thought I'd take a couple of minutes of your time and welcome you to Inspire Confidence. I'm so glad that you've joined, and I feel privileged that you've trusted me with your time and your energy. So I thought I'd explain a little bit about who I am, I guess what I do, and how perhaps it might help you. So from training was an aeronautical engineer, worked in manufacturing, headed up continuous improvement to Fortune 500 companies. I became a lean agile expert. I wrote a book on lean and agile. And then something happened, which was about 4 years ago. I lost all my confidence. I went from someone who was very confident to getting COVID, going through menopause, and then working with someone who was incredibly toxic, but in a very covert way. It was almost kind of insidious. It was difficult to challenge, but it just drip fed into me. And 6 weeks into that project with this person, having had the COVID and with anxiety symptoms that I got with that, and as I say, hitting menopause as well, all those three things together combined. And I woke up one morning and I'd lost all my confidence. And for the first time in my life, I felt how that felt. I felt fear. I felt plagued with self-doubt over the smallest of tasks. And I overthought everything. I started to take things quite personally. There was a lot of noise in my head. And so I got a coach. I did a lot of reading. I love learning, so I watched podcasts. I did a lot of reflecting. And one of the things that I realized was that I thought about confidence differently to everybody else. And so I put together a program, which I called my Quiet Power program, because I believe confidence is very much on the inside. It's not a shirt that you put on in the morning to look confident. It's not performative. It's really how you feel, that kind of inner feeling, that core of you. That's what real confidence is all about. And because I'm a change agent and continuous improvement, it was all for me about experimentation. So all of the things that I learned, I put into place and experimented with and got myself back to who I was. Then looked around me and realised that in these hospitals I worked in, we had nurses, we had doctors, we had consultants, we had execs, we had senior managers who were suffering from a lack of confidence. And so I put this training program together, and the hospital that I put it in, I probably trained about 400 people. And we went from a mediocre hospital to an outstanding one within 18 months. And one of the big feedbacks that we got from the Care Quality Commission was that nurses were advocating for patients in the face of authority that was greater than theirs. So before you'd have a consultant who'd override a nurse's decision, the consultant sees the patient for a couple of minutes, the nurse has been with them for 6 hours, and they would say, I don't think they need meds. They don't need the pain medication. And nurses were saying, yeah, they do. And we're holding the line on it. And they found their voice, they were being heard, communication improved, culture improved, saying, actually, this isn't right. Here's what I believe. And just holding their line in a very quiet, very respectful, but very powerful, impactful way. So this wasn't the only thing that created that outstanding hospital status, but it really showcased to me the power of confidence and how if we can create a community of people who have that confidence, what a difference that can make to an organisation. I set up on my own and I've created a company called Inspire Confidence, and this is what I do. I go into organisations and I train teams on becoming more confident. I do coaching, I'm a professional coach. And the other thing I do is, which I'm really passionate about, is I train leaders on how to support someone who isn't particularly confident, how to build their confidence up. And I see the benefits to what I've achieved, and I can't wait to see what we are going to achieve together. So thank you for listening.